With the voxel editor now available on the App Store, I thought it might be good to create a quick game using some voxels. I'm going to create a Space Invader game. So something quite simple, but we'll use a voxel editor to create the Space Invaders, and then I'm going to walk through writing some WebGL and TypeScript code to kind of create a web-based Invaders game. We'll begin by creating a new voxel sprite, as I call them, with the right dimensions. I've kind of measured these already. I've got some reference art on my other monitor. And then we'll set up our view, so we're looking at it directly from the front, so we can kind of replicate the 2D art from the original game. Okay, now we're going to open the palette, and we're going to pop it to the sidebar, and we're going to use a retro palette. I'm going to use the BBC Micro palette because I'm rather fond of the BBC. Next, we're going to pick the Add Voxel tool and use the pen, and you can use a pen to kind of add voxels to the grid or to existing voxels. And we're going to use this just to sketch out like the back plane of our invader. We're going to make this like a multi-coloured layered invader. So we just watch this draw out. So I'm using a pen tool. I'm using my Apple Pencil with the iPad, and I find that quite a nice way to kind of control the control the device. I'm using reference art for this as well, not making it up as I go. Next, we're going to switch to the select tool, and there's a little select all button, which is that grid on the left. We're going to copy the layer, and we'll do this 4 times to make it sort of four voxels deep. As you can see, we're on 2. You can either use the nudge buttons on the toolbar or use the big arrows to drag things in and out across the various axes. So you're going to make this into a 4 voxel deep model. And next, we're going to colour each slice, as it were, in a different colour, and we're going to use the flood fill tool for that. And one of the things you can do is control the depth. So if I just use it in its default setting, everything will go to yellow. That's kind of continuous, but I've knocked off that button at the top right on the toolbar, and that's the depth axis. So when that's disabled, it won't flood fill over the Z axis, just over the X and Y. And you can do it over the X and the y-axis too, so you can kind of control the planes on which a flood fill will operate. And so I'm just going to do a flood fill out. It doesn't cross diagonals at the moment, so that's my iPhone going. I'm not going to re-record that. So now we've got our voxel coloured out. And I'm just going to turn off the grid so we can have a proper look at it. You can see now the camera shows kind of like all the models, and you can do rotations with those buttons. And that's me using my finger to rotate it, and pinch gestures to move in and out. And that's it, a voxel sprite. There, I've just copied the other ones. I did the other ones, I don't think you watched me do them all, so that's the other sprites we can use, all pretty simple. Not the best looking things in the world. I'm not an artist, but kind of inspired by the original game. And that's it. That's the voxel editor. And next we'll be doing setting up the sort of WebGL and TypeScript code. Then we'll export and import the voxels and get the game going. I hope that was interesting.